in the sense of like everybody's still or not that I'm expecting people to get over it. Like I'm just going to say that because it's an event that awakened a lot of people in many different ways. But 5 years later, a large part of collective is still talking about COVID. And I
Right.
feel like we're entering a time period right now. We're entering like a window of time instead of like integrating it and learning and being a more aware individual now. I'm not saying that people aren't, but I'm just saying like if we could just let it go, then people won't be blindsided by the fact that something else is coming down the pipeline. It might have been a ploy just to blindside you again, you know? It's like, come on, you got to get out of there. You got to, you know,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
we need
I don't
more
I don't want
eyes
to
on other
judge.
things.
Right. I don't
Yeah,
want to
I'm not trying to
judge.
judge anybody
I think
because
what it
everybody's going through their own learning right now. But
I mean,
yeah,
to put words to what you just said is that what resonated with me maybe even as back as 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I don't resonate with it anymore. So I mean so I've turned off or tuned out, like literally unsubscribed or whatever to a lot of things because I can't listen to that conversation anymore.
narrative. Yeah,
Yeah, like so I know what you're saying. Like anything
yeah,
anybody's talking about that, I'm clicking off
yeah,
because I don't like it's and it could be, again, from a non-judgmental standpoint, is that they need to continue to have that conversation because they feel compelled to help others. And
yeah.
for
I
me,
try. Yeah,
the dots were fucking bright as stars. The moment it was rolled out, it was like, oh hell no, like like, and I get it. Um, that wasn't the case for everybody else, and
right.
so what I'm feel compelled now or what is drawing me now is that we need the conversation now has to be is how does everybody sit in this space, like I need the next wave. I'm looking for the next wave. Maybe we are the next wave. I don't know. I'm just we're at the juncture now where you have to turn your back to that and move in the direction of which you want to go. And maybe that's what's clicked on. Maybe that's why you and I both are having that same perception, is that just tuning into what other people's narratives are, what they're feeling in their space right this moment doesn't fit. So I think it might be the same one and the same. It's like I gotta keep puddle hopping. I gotta keep jumping that, skipping my rock across the surface because I don't want to go back and sit in that pond.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what I was alluding to earlier when I was just saying can't be there.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, gotta move forward because it, I mean, I don't know. Gotta move forward because, like, if you just dwell there, then the same thing is gonna happen. You get what I mean? And I'm not trying to be like prophesizing. I'm just saying, like, from one aspect, it's like I can see that happening. So it's like you gotta move out of that space because, and this might sound weird, but it's like you're exactly where they want you to be, you know? Because if you stay in that space, it may create another thing of fear, you know, another thing that you might have to overcome, or it might be emotionally traumatic, or in some cases, it might be devastating. It's like you've got to, you know, you have to move on. Like you have to grieve it, you know, have the remorse or whatever feelings go along with it, the woulda, shoulda, coulda, and then you got to let go.
There's going to be that level of variance for everyone
Yeah.
at some point. I mean, I think that the challenge here is that it's still on the cusp of the tipping point. So, collectively we've turned that we've crossed that bridge. It's just getting everybody to sync up.
Yeah. Like
There's
whether they want to walk across it or not.
right. If
Yeah.
they're there, they're hesitant or they're still unsure, and it's just like the only words I can put to it is just that second, that was phase one, complete, successful. Phase two is holding it, anchoring it, anchoring the grid. That's what keeps getting shown to me. Open the portal, anchor the grid. Open the portal, anchor the grid. Anchor it. Make
Yeah.
it manifested into the reality. Because we can talk about it, but it's actually experiencing it and living it that anchors it down. And I firmly, especially this week, is that is the overarching goal, is to move into that more readily so that it can become a more unified, I guess, a unity connected or legitimized is coming to mind. Like, again, anchor, legitimize it, make it be your reality. Because you can talk
Right.
about it, you can experience it in a virtual setting, on a screen, you can experience it, you can hear it, you can engage with it, but then when you disconnect from it, then you're just like,
It's
it's not there,
it's
you're
not
missing.
actuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not living that aspect of it. Very strong people to bring that forward, or it's going to, I mean, there's still that aspect that I think it'll be forced.
Uh, uh,
Still have that in
Yeah.
the long term range,
Yeah.
so we can. There lies the. That's what I'm being shown right now. There lies the fork in the road. You can go willingly. You can have fun doing it. You're gonna go down the other way. It's just gonna be, well, that's gonna be the outcome anyways. It just might not be as pleasant. Just which one you want to go on.
Pretty much.
And so I honestly, personally, 100% equivocally agree that I've prepared for both ways. And I'm just standing there going, who else wants to go? Which way we going? Because I think I've done both.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm at pretty much at a point. Well, I mean, not in the setup that you are, but in the point of, all right, well, it could go one of two ways here, folks.
Hmm.
Um, Either
And
way, I'm fine. Um, you know,
I mean, I think I've been
and that's all I can do. Yeah.
playing out the path that's not so welcoming in the dreamscape this week. That's what it feels like. It feels like I was on like this massive adventure, traversing what that might look like. So if I tie it back to your question before, is that no, I don't feel like taking the time, which is minimal. It's not really a lot because I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. It's just happens and it's accrued over time. You know what I mean? Like when I say time, meaning just little increments of time have been devoted to it. But I mean, like, I'm consistently trying to dedicate a few minutes of my day to just say, check in and say, hey, is there anything else I need to do here? You know what I mean? What else is on the docket or what else is in front of me? Or what else should I be, you know, have the accommodation to? But I don't spend a lot of time dwelling on it. I just
Yeah.
do a checklist and then sometime later it's checked off. You know what I mean? Like it just naturally just gets
Yeah.
checked off. I don't let it consume myself. That aspect, I'm just covering all aspects, but I think that's a learning curve that most people they live through, and the words that we put out there as preppers is just the outcome of an observation of how much we actually relied on a system that is makes us very vulnerable. And I
Yeah.
think that was important. That was an important lesson for everybody. And then some learned it and some did not.
Some did it not. Yeah.
A very large portion did not learn that
Yeah.
lesson. Just going to say, I think it's, it's more of a lifestyle. I think it changed a lot of people's aspect of how they want to experience this life. So therefore, it's a lifestyle change that they're working towards. Could anyone be completely 100% self-sustaining? No. I just I don't know if that's completely achievable. I think that's something that everybody has to come to terms with on the next phase.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole like you're only so self-reliant goes back to the fact that like humans are meant to live in villages.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at when we got interrupted by recording lady. Is
Right.
that like the perception that I mean, you can be self-sustainable for a good portion, but completely no, you're still reliant on others. You're going to have to be like, I just don't see any aspect of that. But again, it comes back to just being, tribe mentality that we thrive in a tribe. Yes, I want to connect with like-minded people. Yes, I want to build a space where people can come and be and, you know, live on the land and grow spiritually. But, you know, there's still going to be some aspect where we're going to have to connect into some other outside source until something completely shifts over. Like, and I'm just being for an example, I still have to participate in the banking system to be able to do any transactions to acquire a good. Anybody who's been leading the charge is now recalibrating to that aspect. I think that's when I say the next phase. That's really what keeps coming or is being shown, that everybody's taking stock and recalibrating and assessing their overall skill set right now. Because 5 years ago, everybody's like, I'm done. I'm out of this. You know what I mean? And everybody's been marching to that beat who's picking up that vibration and saying, no, I'm not living in the city. I'm not relying on these supply chains. I'm not, um, who are establishing as a part of their foundation for the new community that will arise. It's just whether it comes organically and willingly or it becomes abruptly or it comes from the ashes. Either way, I think it's the end result to some aspect. And I believe there's still going to be some aspect where people are going to be playing out that other 3D drama. Even though I think timelines are rapidly collapsing on top of itself. I think that the underlying current has been to be prepared for anything. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I've made amends with that because I have
Yeah.
felt that same thing. It's not ever out of fear. It's out of just preparedness, meaning I don't want to face challenges that I could have avoided. You know what I mean? Like it should just be
Yeah.
another day, no matter what's going on. It's just another day that's not going to rock my world. You know what I mean? That's not going to,
Right.
derail anything. And I stand firm to that.
Well,
Um,
I guess what I was alluding to is that when you fuck with Mother Nature's gonna reset itself.
well, I think she's already done. She's doing right now
Okay.
exactly what she's doing. I commune with her every day. So she's letting off, like, instead of it being a cataclysmic event, it has now been downgraded. You think of it like a hurricane reading, you know what I mean? We went from a category 7 down to we're probably playing in a 4 right now. And the more that we move forward, it's going to weaken. Not saying she's not going to let off said, let's call it steam. We're already witnessing earthquakes, all of that, all those happenings are her way of letting off steam as she upgrades. That's what's been shown to me. So we're not out of the woods. Now, I just I've never been given a year. You know what I mean? Like, I do know that the overarching window that was shown to me, and that's the only time I've really ever seen, or actually, I wouldn't even say seen, because that was brought to me from somebody. That's drum below. We've talked about that before. Is the time frame for that window,
True.
which started in 1990, and they has
Yeah.
been projected out to 2030. So that's the only window of time that I can say physically I know about. But I think it's going to be ongoing. I think like that's just to get past this, what I'm going to call critical point. You know what I mean? Like that's the critical point. The after effects still linger, just like anything. So that would be anything past 2030. So yeah, another what, 40 years out? Sure, absolutely. Um, and that's why I think it's important right now, or at least that's what's driving for me. The push, what I call the push, the tap, knock, knock, whatever you want to call it, is if you don't anchor it in, then you have to replay that out, that critical point out. Critical play right now within this window is now for the next 5 years to see what happens. And if that we can't anchor it in, then we're up against the next wave of possibilities.
Yeah, I don't want to sign up for the next wave of possibilities.
I was shocked to discover the possibility that we somehow circumvented without all of us really being online. We
True.
were online in this physical space. I wasn't on.